Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what the game gives me today. We've got the Cyborg. Alright, so we're going to use the same rules as we used last time, and sell the minigun. And we'll just kind of see how we can manage with the Cyborg without the minigun. Let's go ahead and roll, and we got wrenches. I believe I did wrenches last time, so I'm going to re-roll. Okay, game still wants me to have wrenches. We've got Cyborg with submachine guns, but no minigun. So we're going to have to sell the minigun, because this is a random weapon challenge, so we're going to stay strictly on that. Wow, that is, I believe, a 1 in 1,000 chance that one of these enemies drops a crate. So that's pretty impressive. Because I think it's 1 in 100 of dropping a consumable by default with no luck on wave 1, and then 1 in 10 of consumable becoming a crate. I'm pretty sure that's right. It might be actually 1 in 100 and then 1 in 100, which would be a 1 in 10,000 chance. Actually, no, I think it is that. Someone let me know in the comments. I'm gonna pick up this harvesting, of course, and then... Oh, it hurts so bad every time we have to do this. We're selling the minigun, and then we are going to take the submachine gun. I'm going to lock coffee. Is such an efficient item, even though submachine gun needs very little attack speed. There is an animation thing where you get a little extra attack speed, or you get a lot of extra damage from a little bit of attack speed on submachine guns. And then also just, it's such an efficient item. We're going to buy more SMGs. I'm of course taking the landmines because we're going to need as many sources of engineering-based damage as we can possibly get for the second half of our waves. The goal here is basically just going to be to kill as many things in the first half of the wave as possible, and then... wow, another crate. That's real luck. And then just use lifesteal to survive the second half. And if we get enough constructs, then we can also survive a little bit better. I'm going to take the lemonade here, of course, and then I'll just take range damage. Harvesting is good as well, but of course we're the Cyborg, so we want to buy as much ranged damage as we can get our hands on so we can kill things really quickly. The advantage of SMG, of course, is that we can burst down the elites and bosses before we swap over to engineering mode. So we do have that going for us, but the disadvantage is that in the second half of waves, we're not going to be killing anything, so I need to be able to survive those. If you're wondering what the easiest way to win with Cyborg is, it's obviously not this, but it is, in general, I suggest going with screwdrivers and keeping 1 or 2 miniguns or submachine guns. The one minigun or 1 minigun and a submachine gun is enough to kill most elites, and then the screwdrivers will help you kill stuff in the second half of the wave. And because they do damage based on your engineering, which will be very high once the conversion happens, you can actually kill things with the weapon attacks from screwdrivers as well. Here, I'm going to reroll. I'll take flat range damage or harvesting. I guess I'll take 10 luck as well. This is really the luck-based run. And then, do I want a level 2 dodge upgrade? I will want defensive stats, but I feel like we can do better. I don't need regen because we're going to use lifesteal, obviously. We're a submachine gun build. So yeah, we'll just take some harvesting here. Then we will buy the SMG, the landmines, and the coffee. I don't really need the alien tongue. I would rather buy baby gecko for picking up materials, and then another amazing shop. All right. I'm feeling in good shape here, but the real challenge is going to be once our 1 damage a shot from the SMGs is no longer sufficient to kill enemies, which will happen around wave 7 or 8. For the early game, we should be fine, because our submachine guns are just going to wipe everything out. But in the later game, we are going to start to really struggle to kill enemies in the second half of these waves. Why are we still dealing 3... Oh, it's just the 3 base damage, or the 4 base damage. Because it doesn't remove all of our damage, all the base damage of the weapons. Here I am going to reroll. I could take 10 luck, but I'd rather take 8 harvesting if we can get that, and indeed we can. And then we will take another submachine gun, buy some landmines and a tree, and then roll. buy an SMG, and then roll. And we'll take the baby gecko here. Ugly Tooth. This is actually probably a decent way to survive. Except I'm just going to... yeah, in the second half of waves, because I can slow enemies with my SMGs and keep them alive. Keep myself alive. So I think we will buy the Ugly Tooth. It'll just make it easier to run away from stuff. I generally have been less impressed with this item since the nerfs, but I think for this particular character, it's going to be pretty good. Even though we're going to kill the elites very quickly, so it won't come up against them. For the normal waves, where in the second half of these waves, we're dealing with just enemies that aren't going to die to our weapons, we need ways to protect ourselves during that time. I'd, of course, much rather have turrets than landmines, because landmines are not that good for wave clear, but they're solid enough to be worth buying for the Cyborg, I think. Getting okay, but not incredible income at this point. Yeah, so it won't be till wave, like, 8 or so that our weapons stop killing stuff, but that will eventually happen. I'm just going to take the 8% damage here because it's a level 2 upgrade, and then we'll take 10 more luck because that's an economy upgrade. Take Gecko, Ugly Tooth, and Lumberjack shirt, and then roll. A bag is going to be excellent. I do need more movement speed, so I'll take the compass. Gambling token we can pass on, and Broken Mouth I definitely want. So I'm really looking for ranged damage, of course, which we have managed to pick up only 3 of, despite being the Cyborg, which is pretty bad. I need a lot more of that before we fight the Elite. And then I need some lifesteal so that we can survive the second half of waves. But other than that, I'm feeling in decent shape, especially because we found the Broken Mouth, which is going to fix our max HP problem. Right now, our max HP is quite low. Wave 9 is going to be a challenge. Just the sheer number of enemies in the second half of the wave, when I don't have enough engineering to make these landmines clear, enough constructs, or enough engineering to make these landmines clear. Wave 9 is going to be a real problem. You can see we are starting to struggle a little bit with wave clear at this point. Can I get this tree? Nice, I got it. I went to very low health, but that's okay. Made 200 materials, that's pretty good. I'll take 15 luck here. The armor is very nice as well, but I'll just take the level 3 upgrade. We will then buy the whistle, Broken Mouth, and compass. Of course, we don't get any value from the engineering, but I do just want the movement speed. Garden. I feel like I can pass on the garden. I will take construct attack speed if we see it, but I think we're just going to be better off getting any lifesteal for healing. Then I will upgrade my SMGs, of course. Getting these all to level 2 is going to be pretty nice. Haven't found any ranged damage upgrades, no turrets, no piercing shots or anything like that, so we're definitely missing some key components. I'm definitely going to kill as many of the eggs as I can this wave, because even in the first half of the wave, we are struggling to clear these enemies, because I haven't found any range damage. I've probably passed like 1 or 2 points of range damage for more important things, but I definitely would like some more. So that slasher has spawned. We can still kill stuff okay, but I definitely am going to need better ways to do that. Insanity is not very good for the damage output, but still probably worth taking for 10 materials. And then the incendiary turret, that's great. That will help a lot for the second half of these waves. I'm going to roll here and look for range damage, but I am just going to take 3 armor. And then this is our level 10 upgrade, so let's roll and find 3 range damage if I can. Do I want luck, armor, or HP more than range damage? I don't think so. I think I actually just need to find flat range damage. Okay. Do I take armor or lifesteal? So I've rolled several times and missed. I think I'm going to take the armor. We'll be able to find lifesteal more easily than armor. But I'm pretty unhappy about not finding any range damage there. Gonna buy those items and then roll. Okay, small magazine is perfect. Peacock is quite dangerous going into wave 9, but I feel like we can get away with it. We also got 2 incendiary turrets now. I actually don't remember. Did I find the second one in a box? I must have. And I guess I'll buy the Scar as well going into Wave 9, because a lot of level ups will be pretty helpful for just getting more damage. So now I think that we have 2 incendiary turrets. We're actually a little better off in the second half of waves, once I get enough damage to make my constructs do stuff. I'm certainly not 100% that we're going to be able to survive Wave 9. This, of course, is a fairly difficult character, and I haven't found the key stat for it. We did manage to kill that one loot alien, which is nice. I shouldn't have stepped on both of those consumables. That definitely cost me some potential healing. Yeah, this is the first wave where just the base damage of our weapons, once all our range damage gets converted to engineering, is not enough to clear the wave efficiently. You usually want to make about 300 materials on wave 8 on Crash Zone, and we only made 265, but we did leave 28 on the ground. I'll take the range damage here, that's perfect, and then I could start building dodge, but I think I'm just going to go with armor. I will take the Peacock. This is pretty dangerous, but since we have the small magazine, I think we can get away with it. And then we're going to roll here. I'll lock the mirror just in case we find something worth mirroring. So the first half of the wave should be just fine, even despite the Peacock, because now I've got the small magazine and found some more flat range damage. So we pretty much just one-tap all these enemies. I'm trying to avoid pulling them on top of the landmines. It's very difficult, though, but if I could leave these landmines intact for the second half of the wave, when we're using our engineering, then we'll be better off. So, like, there, the landmine helped clear that big group of enemies, and then we've got the double incendiary turret. I probably would not have taken the Peacock if we didn't have the double incendiary turret, because with 2 of these, they can actually help keep us alive. I'm kind of kiting around these chargers. I want to sort of loop them around the incendiary turrets, so that's why we're moving like that, to try to make sure that they are constantly getting set on fire. We didn't make that much money, but well, I guess we made almost 500 if you count the materials we left on the ground. We also got 3 levels. Take the tree here. I am going to just take the movement speed. I do want more move speed. We're going to take range damage, and then here I'm going to take percent damage. I need to get my damage up by the time I fight the elite. I could mirror the bowler hat. That's a lot of stats. Let's do that, and then we'll buy both of these. And then I need to roll. We'll upgrade our submachine gun, buy range damage, buy landmines. My HP is quite low, but I still don't think we want the tardigrade here. This is just not that efficient, and I'd rather use lifesteal to survive. Just gonna drink some water. And then on to wave 10. Alright, so my damage is solid, but, and especially will get better with the lens. But we definitely are going to need a little more damage to be able to kill the elite really quickly. And of course on the Cyborg, you want to kill the elite almost instantly. How you die on this character is if too many enemies stack up during your ranged damage phase, and then you don't have the damage to clear them. And then during the melee or during the engineering phase, you just get overwhelmed, because it's also the more difficult second half of the wave is your weaker form. So you really need to keep the wave super clear for the first few, for the first 30 seconds while you're waiting to be put into your second phase, because otherwise you can just get overwhelmed. You're sort of seeing that happen a little bit here. Fortunately, I have even just 2% lifesteal is fine. I'm going to take the Scar here. Perfect. 3 range damage. That's ideal. And then I could take luck, but I'm going to roll, or armor, but I'm going to roll here and try to find lifesteal. And what an amazing find. 4% lifesteal. That's going to help keep us alive a lot. We're going to buy all of these items. Roll again, and we'll take the submachine gun. With 6% lifesteal, we're actually kind of close to being able to buy Weird Ghost even into the elite, but I think we're not going to do that. It's just a little bit too risky. If I had like 2% more lifesteal, I probably would. Coil is pretty nice. The knockback is actually pretty good for this build because we've got Ugly Tooth, we've got submachine guns, so we're going to be pushing enemies away. This can really help us survive, so giving our weapons knockback is actually really nice. We'll take the small magazine and the helmet. I don't have any piercing damage. I would buy piercing damage pretty aggressively, but I'm going to pass on Pumpkin because it doesn't do anything for us right now. Getting offered a lot of flamethrowers. You can see why I said we were almost able to buy Weird Ghost, because we took that hit and then healed up immediately, because even small amounts of lifesteal on an SMG build is so much healing. One of the things that I think is important to understand about the Cyborg is that one advantage that this character gets is that you get the best healing item in the game, Minigun. Minigun attacks super fast, so any lifesteal you get is really, really powerful with the minigun. The knockback is actually huge for us right now, by the way, because this is wave 11, so the rib cages would otherwise just be hunting us down because they constantly get faster and we don't have the damage to kill them really quickly. So instead of having to like run from them and kite them around our incendiary turret, we probably wouldn't die to them still, but we are having a much smoother experience because I have the knockback. So the coil ended up being really good here. I'm going to take the jetpack for the movement speed, and we can start building dodge. And I don't need the regen, so we're recycling that. Yeah, I'll keep increasing my move speed. I'll take some more % damage just so we can kill things a little faster, and we will take 6 max HP there as well. Not bothering with the range, our weapons have plenty of range. We're a gun build, so we have lots of range already. It'll take small magazine, helmet, and I could buy Insanity in case we find Tentacle or Hunting Trophy, but I think we're going to pass on that. It's not very good with Submachine Gun in general, and then it's even worse with Submachine Gun for this character, because our crits are not going to do anything in the second half of the wave. Wheat and Honey are both really nice, and Handcuffs is really good as well. Of course, I'm going to want to boost my max HP before I buy the Handcuffs, but I will buy 8 range damage for sure. So in this shop, I'm going to be looking to get... In this level up shop, I'm going to be looking to get max HP. I don't think we're going to get 2 levels. If we got 2 levels, then we would hit level 20. Which would allow us to get a guaranteed level 3 upgrade, which we could just roll to make that a 9 HP upgrade. So if I hit level 20, then that would be great. If not, we're probably just going to roll for like 6 HP. I'm fine capping my HP at 50. Or so. But I definitely would like to get to at least that much. Looks like we might not even hit level 19, though. Despite our lots of XP gain upgrades, we're just struggling to kill enemies a bit. I have a lot of harvesting, actually, so we're not going to hit 20, but we did hit 19 very comfortably, even before you take the harvesting into account. Losing 3 HP, I still should buy the leather vest, though. I am not going to take... Actually, this might be a not scenario. I don't really care about not being able to upgrade my SMGs anymore. These are plenty to be able to kill all the elites and bosses, and we need the max HP. So yeah, we're going to take not... I'm of course going to regret this, because I hate that item, but still I think it is the right pick, so we're going to do it here. I'm going to take 20 luck, and then now we can buy the handcuffs, because we have 57 HP, so it's fine. Let's buy Honey and... Exoskeleton first, though, because I can wait 1 wave on the handcuffs and maybe get a little more max HP. I'll keep buying XP gain. We have a lot, so this is less valuable, but it's still pretty nice, even this late. And then we'll definitely take a mouse. That's kind of the perfect find for us. So now I can just wait through this wave, hit level 20, gain a plus 9 HP upgrade, and then buy the handcuffs with 60 plus HP, which is plenty. Would love a pocket factory, more structures, structure attack speed of any kind, like improved tools or Clockwork Wasp. I don't know what it is about Clockwork Wasp, but I can never remember the name of that item. Sadly, our incendiary turret spawned in weird spots this map, so we were not able to kill them super quick. There's a loot alien there, but I don't think it's going to die. Maybe to the burning damage from the incendiary turret. I just don't have the damage with my attacks to get back in and get it. I'll take the fertilizer here. Of course, it only costs 11. Broken mouth, perfect. And then I don't even need to roll for max HP here, but I suppose I will. We'll take the 9 max health, and then... Ooh, level 4 minigun. We'd be able to buy that if we weren't an SMGs only build. I can't combine or do anything with my SMGs, so this one doesn't... we can't do anything with those because we have the knot. We'll take handcuffs and we'll roll. Still can't upgrade my submachine gun, so you can see game will not let me buy this. Ice Cube, we don't have any elemental damage right now, but I could take the Ice Cube anyways as a speculation. I see this misconception a lot, by the way. Ice Cube is not triggered by Incendiary Turret. This is not elemental damage. So unless you have a source of elemental damage, the Ice Cube won't work. We are happy with the Pocket Factory, though, and then I'm going to roll. And I'll take the Sharp Bullet and the Butterfly as well. More ranged damage from the Alloy. Also, of course, we're very, very happy with. This wave is quite dangerous because I have a lot of random damage from the 2 incendiary turrets and the landmines. So if too many of the little goobers get stacked up on wave 14, you can get in a lot of trouble. And I do not have the damage with my weapons to kill them. Also, until I get... I guess we have the mouse, but for lifesteal. But my healing is not enough that if I'm taking like constant hits from these that we'll be able to just tank through everything. My defensive stats are fine, but not amazing. So you can see this wave is going to put us under a lot of pressure. I just need to survive for another 12 seconds. Don't think we're going to be able to kill the loot alien. This is another hidden disadvantage of the Cyborg, is it's really hard for random weapon runs anyways. It's really hard to kill loot aliens because you don't do any damage in the second half of the wave, which is when they start showing up. Take range damage here. I guess I do have 2 landmines, so the explosive shells are kind of interesting. A lot of explosion damage, a lot of explosion size. My percent damage is really low, though. So I think I'm going to recycle that, but it's kind of close. I'm going to roll here. I'll take 20 luck again. And then I've got the Sharp Bullet now, so Pumpkin's a lot more interesting. So let's take Pocket Factory, Pumpkin, and Alloy, because I want to kill the Elite as quickly as possible. I'll lock both of these. I've reduced my dodge a lot. My dodge was actually starting to get quite high, because I had the jetpack, but I've reduced it in a couple ways. But we can build it back up, potentially. Gotta kill this Elite as quickly as possible, so that I just don't have to deal with its shenanigans. And now we're an engineering build, so things are dying a lot slower. The Pocket Factory helps a ton, though, especially because I have a tree. We've got the landmines, which are doing fine, and I've got the incendiary turrets, which are still killing stuff. So we're still in pretty decent shape in the engineering phase now that I've found Pocket Factory. That's a really big help to our wave clear. Of course, one way that we could instantly win this run is if we found Nail, because that would let our weapons still do damage during the engineering phase. I have invested in 3 geckos, but of course we're still going to take Sif's Relic, and I've got positive crit chance, so we'll take the Tentacle. Coral, I'm just going to recycle because I don't like doing the tap moving thing. We're going to take range damage, and then I'm going to reroll here, and I don't need the harvesting on wave 15. Let's take an armor. Baby Elephant is a way that we can kill stuff that doesn't care whether we're in ranged or melee, ranged or engineering form. I keep saying ranged or melee form. I can't buy these SMGs, but I'll take some more attack speed. We'll take the treasure map. We'll roll here. Celery tea won't do anything. This late acid doesn't do anything. Let's take the coupon. Lock the wheat. I'm going to take the boxing glove as well, because I actually do want more knockback. And then I'll buy both of these items. Wisdom is kind of interesting, because it will have stacked up a bunch of damage in the second half of the wave. But at that point, all our weapons aren't doing damage anyways, and I need to burst down elites and bosses before we convert our stats. So, much better off not buying the wisdom and focusing our damage on front-loaded damage. Of course, the wisdom's percent damage does not apply to structures, so there's no advantage in having the extra damage in the second half of the wave. I could really use another tree. That would be really nice. To just boost the pocket factory. Critical hit is actually a little better for the Cyborg with SMGs than I was giving it credit for. It's normally not that good for submachine guns, right? Because you only crit 1.5x damage. But for the Cyborg, where there's very few ways to raise your damage in the second half of the wave, the critical hit is basically doubling my damage per attack whenever it goes off. Because it's turning the base damage from 5 to 9, thanks to rounding, it looks like. So we're actually getting quite a bit of extra value from the crit chance. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so I will lose 2 range damage, or 6 range damage, which is really painful here, of course. But the nail is just awesome. That means that our weapons now do damage. And because we have the nail, I think we can actually take the wisdom here as well. Then I'll take 2 range damage to make up the difference here. Adrenaline, that's pretty good. I am gonna keep building crit now, and we'll take the coffee as well. Alienize is another way to kill stuff that doesn't involve our actual weapon attacks, although our weapons are pretty good at dealing damage at this point. I'm very curious how the damage with the nail stacks up in the second half of the wave here. You can see that the wisdom did make it much slower to kill that elite, so I'm going to need to stack some percentage damage before we fight the bosses, so that we can kill them much sooner than we would in our current state. Alright, so I'm going to go to 30 seconds here and see kind of how this works out. How much damage? Yeah, we're still doing 60 damage a shot. So with the nail. So nail just like single-handedly wins Cyborg runs now. That's kind of cool. Obviously, we knew it would be a good item, but it's wild how much damage we're doing with our weapon attacks now. Piggy bank is too late. We're recycling that. I'll take the night goggles. More crit chance is pretty good. Recycle this still. We'll take 4 range damage. I'll take more crit chance. Actually, I'm going to roll because I bet we can get dodge or something that we need more. I'll take lifesteal. I'd like to hit 15% lifesteal too. I'm going to take coffee and alienize and then roll. Buy a coupon and a scope. Lock the feather. Roll again. Will the hunting trophy pay for itself on only wave 19? I've got 36 crit chance. It would cost 148. I don't think it quite will. It's pretty close, honestly, to paying for itself, but I don't think it will, so we're not going to buy it. But kind of neat that we're that close to hunting trophy still being good even this late. Such a strong item when you have any crit chance. Trying to record several of these runs in a day because I'm going out of town soon. So hopefully having played too much Brotato in a day doesn't make my play worse. And it's certainly satisfying to just continuously gun things down in the late game here. Just not have to worry about our being in our second form. We've got -7 regen, so we're recycling that. I'll take the knockback still. Take the attack speed still. Take the feather and then roll here. Cyberball still probably fine. I've got 100 luck, so this is 10% damage. That's actually great. And then I'll roll. Take the scope and roll. And we definitely don't need fertilizer. I think we actually do want the spider. It's only 12% damage, but our percent damage is so low that any percent damage increase is good. And medical turret could help keep us alive, but our plan is to never get to the second half of the wave anyways. So we're just not going to ever have the engineering for the medical turret to be good healing. We've also got a bunch of lifesteal and submachine guns, so we should be just fine. This is definitely a case where nail as an item is really showing off how strong it can be. I always love the items that turn one type of stat into another type of stat, because you can end up with just wild builds happening as a result of them, and nail's one of my favorite for that, because the 20% scaling isn't enough that it turns every build into an engineering build, but it can enable whole different combinations of characters to function, and combinations of items and weapons and characters to function. So I just think it's a really cool, well-designed item. You know what? Let's weird ghost. We're gonna get nuts with it. I know this, I could jeopardize the win streak here, but I'm just feeling like it. We'll take the damage here. We'll take the spider. I'll take the leather vest, give myself a little more dodge. Take the bat, heal up a little faster. And decomposing flesh would have been awesome, by the way. But seashell's going to be pretty nice as well, so I'll take that. And then clockwork wasp would have been good too. But at this point, we're just kind of trying to go off with weird ghosts. So let's see what happens. So I'm at 1 HP. I need to heal back up. I'm backing away from the bosses, because if I take a hit from them, I will die. But there we go. Got the full heal and have killed the bosses very, very fast. So with the weird ghosts notwithstanding, we managed to do it. All right, so taking a look at our items here, these early landmines did quite well. They did 25k damage, so they ended up paying for themselves pretty effectively. Baby geckos were nice. I was happy with the ugly tooth. I think that helped keep us alive in the mid game for sure. So with submachine gun, which applies the slow really frequently, and with this character, which just needed to stay alive, the ugly tooth I think was quite good. Obviously, the bag was absurd. 435 materials is just ridiculous. We also got so lucky with all those early item drops. 63k damage from incendiary turret. That's less than I would have expected, but that's because we found the nail. So we were killing things with our weapons, even when normally we wouldn't have been. Mirrored the bowler hat. That's obviously great for your economy. Coil was excellent here. The extra knockback on submachine guns is just incredible. So really nice to find that. And it combines really well with the ugly tooth slow as well. So I was very happy with this. Maybe I should have pursued knockback even more aggressively than just buying the coil. But honestly, even a little bit of knockback does a lot on submachine guns because you attack so often that just the 5 knockback helped keep us alive during the mid game, which was great. What else? All of these items are just solid the way they are. Mouse, of course, is excellent. We got the handcuffs were great. 8 range damage, of course, is awesome. Sharp bullet, excellent. Pocket factory gave us a lot of extra wave clear as we went through. Only 1 healing from the tentacle because we just sort of stopped taking damage. 17k on the baby elephant. That's pretty nice. 2 items from treasure map, so not amazing, but still pretty good. And only 200 saved on coupon, but still very solid item regardless. And of course the nail. This is the item that just instantly won us the run. We were already in great shape before we found it, but this item was so strong, just letting us still kill things in the second half of waves. 3k there. 6k there and 42k on our turrets. So yeah, that was a really fun run. I hope that you enjoyed it. I had a great time, obviously. Finding the nail and just obliterating everything is definitely very satisfying. So, as always, of course, if you have enjoyed the run, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm. And you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. We'll be back and see if we can keep up the win streak.